scrappers, chemistry enthusiasts, gold lovers, welcome back to my channel. Today, what we're doing here is I am processing some remains of IC chips that I have incinerated and then pulverized down here in my makeshift ball mill, my vibratory tumbler full of steel balls. And then I did a gravity separation to get rid of the bulk of the ashy material. Put it in my big beaker and put some of my homemade nitric acid on it. The stuff I've made in the last 3 or 4 videos. And wow, have we got a reaction. And you know what? That's the weak stuff. I put all the weak stuff in there. I was afraid it was going to boil over before I get the camera going. But it's settled down now. I turned the heat way down. So that's the weak stuff. I haven't even started on, you know, the stuff there in that flask, which is the strong stuff, which is like 72.7%. A little better than the azeotrope. So it looks like it's working perfectly well, my homemade acid is, which I made from waste, which I produce by dissolving the base metals out of IC chips using nitric acid. So I've got, you know, a circular recycling thing going, where the nitrate salts that are going to be produced in here, I can recycle back into making more nitric acid to dissolve more IC chips. So it's working. It's working good. Yeah. And like I said, I haven't even started on the strong acid yet. This was the weak stuff. I didn't even bother measuring the strength on it, but it must have been pretty strong because, wow, got quite the reaction going here. Okay, so we'll just keep processing this stuff and see how it goes. Okay, it's been a little while. The reaction seems to be dying down some, so I think we're going to put some of the stronger acid in over here and see what that does. You open this away from me. Yeah, because in case there was any pressure built up in there, I didn't want a face full of those fumes, because this is some extremely strong fuming nitric acid. Wow, look at the reaction. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I guess I better not put too much of this stuff in, or we might be risking a boil over. That's probably enough for now. Okay, and we'll just let that go, and we'll keep making small additions of nitric acid until we get all of the base metals in there chewed up. Now this stuff has been screened actually through a 70 mesh screen this time. I'd been doing it through a 40, but I've scaled up quite a bit, and I'm doing it through a 70 now. A lot of material through a 70, so the bond wire should go through a 70 without any trouble. But a little bit of other stuff goes through too. So, you know, we did get some base metal in there. So just got to chew it up with nitric acid, and then once it's all gone, we can put some aqua regia to it and dissolve those gold bond wires. Well, looks like it's about time for another shot of acid. Yep, immediately get some bubbling. The beaker is filling with orange fumes immediately because this stuff has a lot of nitrogen dioxide dissolved in it, and as soon as it hits that hot liquid, it comes out of solution and fills the beaker. Okay, we'll just let that cook for a while longer till it needs some more. Okay, I think we're getting close to having all of the base metals in solution. I just put some more acid in there, and we got the initial bubbling and nitrogen dioxide coming out of solution, but really there's not much of a sustained reaction. I mean, normally it's bubbling and reacting for a good 10-15 minutes after I put in a shot of acid. This is slowed way down, so I think we've just about got all the base metals in solution. So what I will likely do is just let this go, maybe put another shot of acid in it in 10-15 minutes, let it go until it starts getting dark, shut it down for the night, let everything settle so that I can decant off the liquid that's full of the base metal salts now. And then we can treat what's left with aqua regia. Okay, so I'll probably see you in the morning. Okay, well, it's the next day and the liquid has settled for the most part. So I'm going to decant off the green-blue liquid in there, and we'll make some aqua regia and see if we can dissolve the gold. And I'll use my homemade nitric acid down there in the aqua regia. Since I'm not, even though, you know, I don't have my gloves on, so it's a little scary, but you know, this stuff has a bit of a green tinge to it. It's not very pure, but that's okay for this initial extraction step. Once I get to purifying the gold, I'll use my pure store-bought nitric acid, or I will redistill some of my own homemade nitric acid so it's nice and pure, either way. But anyway, I gotta decant this off and we'll make some aqua regia. And I gotta put some gloves on. Alrighty, I have decanted off the liquid, rinsed this a couple of times to try and get the bulk of the base metal salts out of it. So let's make some aqua regia. So in goes some muriatic acid. Get it stirring. There we go. Okay, I'll put some heat to it. Alright, and now it's time for some of my homemade nitric acid. Put a fair amount in because there's probably still some base metal in there. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe didn't all get dissolved out with the nitric acid oils. This pipette's not working too well. Maybe I just need to go get a new pipette. It's probably a good idea. Alright, let's see if a new one works any better. Just not sucking the stuff up. Oh yeah, we got some. It doesn't help that there's not a huge amount in here. Okay, so put a little bit more in. I'm trying to keep track mentally here. We're not getting very much in each pipette load. But, okay. One more, I think. I may have to transfer this to another vessel in order to get the last bit out, unless I want to just cowboy it and pour some in, which I might end up doing. Okay, so we will let that cook and add more nitric until we don't see any more reaction going on. See if we can get the gold that's in there into solution. So in case I forgot to say it earlier, which I don't remember whether I did or not, this is material that is from IC chips that have been incinerated, plastic IC chips. They've been incinerated. They were pulverized in my homemade ball mill down here. Made from a vibratory tumbler full of steel balls now. Works pretty good. Turns the IC chips into a really fine powder. It's been screened down through a 70 mesh screen, so only the stuff that made it through the 70 mesh screen is in here. We've done some nitric acid boils on it using my homemade nitric acid that was made from my waste material in a previous series of videos. And now we're going to try and dissolve the gold that's in here, again using my homemade nitric acid made from waste material in a previous series of videos. So we'll see how it goes. Well, it's been a few minutes. Looks like we've got a heck of a reaction going on in there. I see bubbling, and the nitrogen dioxide fumes are getting darker in the beaker. So metal's going into solution. Hopefully it's gold. We'll see. Okay, I've turned the heat down because it is bubbling pretty darn hard in there. I'm starting to worry we might have a boil over, so I'm still getting used to this hot plate stir plate. It runs really hot. So I just measured the temperature on it. It was about 159 C, which is quite a bit hotter than what I really wanted. So I've turned it down. We'll see if that helps. I don't want the reaction running quite this fast. That's much better. Not so much boiling and bubbling now. Okay, I'm gonna put some more nitric acid in. Actually, you know what? I think I'm just gonna very carefully pour a little bit in. It's my pipettes aren't reaching down there. Get a lot of nitrogen dioxide in there too. Okay, see how that does. I don't want to revive it so good I got to worry about a boil over again. All right, we'll just let it sit there and cook. Okay, I think we're getting close to having all the gold in solution. I've been putting little doses of acid in off camera, but after the last one, I really didn't see much reaction other than a big puff of nitrogen dioxide as it vaporized when it hit the hot liquid. So, a little bit of brown fumes in there still, but not too much. So we're just going to let this go. Maybe I'll hit it with one more dose of acid and see if I see any kind of reaction. If I don't see much of a reaction, we'll just call it done. And we'll get to filtering this. And then we can drop some gold out of it and see how much gold we got. Yeah, this stuff's about done. Not really seeing much more reaction to it. But check this out. Okay, so I took the liquid I decanted off of this after I did the nitric acid boils on it, added some hydrochloric acid to it, and got a huge layer of silver chloride down there. So I've been giving it some washes and letting it settle. I need to give it a few more washes because there's still a lot of copper contamination there clearly, but wow, got a lot of silver chloride out of that. I will have to do the lye and sugar reduction to metallic silver on that, but that will probably be in another video because I'm just going to run out of time here. So I'm going to let this swirl and cook a little more, and then going to deal with it and see if I can get how much gold I can get out of it. Okay, I think it is time to denox this, and let me turn the heat off on it. It's been sitting here cooking all day while I've been working on other stuff, but I'm pretty sure it's been done for a while. Get any gold-bearing splatters off the watch glass. So I'm going to get this denoxed. Now this might foam a lot because I suspect we have an excess of nitric acid in here, and this is my usual saturated solution of sulfamic acid. Oh yeah, we got some foaming going on. Not terrible though. Not too big an excess. Alright. That's gonna do a good job of denoxing that. the rest of that sulfamic acid in there, and then we'll be denoxed for sure. It's turning green as I dilute it, which tells me I did not get all of the base metals out of it, which I'm not surprised at. There's a lot of material in there. It doesn't look like a lot of material, but that's the remains of a lot of IC chips. Probably 10 or 15 pounds worth at least, I would imagine. I didn't weigh it. I think I'm going to do a measured portion of IC chips in the future just to see about how much gold I get on average out of them, but that's for another video. This is just, I just ran the ball mill for a long time and vacuumed the dust out of it. Did it for a long time. But since there's still base metal salts in here, that tells me, since there was a lot of silver in there which I recovered, that tells me there's probably still a lot of silver in it, so we might have some silver precipitation problems with this. So I'll have to filter it really, really well and make sure to get the silver out of it. So first thing I need to do is I need to dilute the heck out of it and cool it down. So I've got the heat off. We're just going to let it sit there and cool down. Then I'm going to ice it up. I'm going to put a lot of ice on it. And as the ice melts, it'll cool it and dilute it. And any silver that's in solution there should drop out once it gets cooled and diluted. Then we can filter it. And we should have a nice clean filtrate, although by the looks of it, it'll be pretty green. But I think there's a lot of gold in there. That's what I'm really after. The silver's a nice bonus, but you know, it's only a fraction of the value of the gold, which is still in here. Oh, and by the way, the silver, it's getting a lot cleaner. Maybe one more rinse. I don't know. Oh, there's a nice clean silver chloride over there. Okay, so I just gotta let this cool down before I do anything else. Okay, I've taken this off of the hot plate because that hot plate stays hot for a really long time even after it's turned off. Put it out here, put some ice on it, and get it cooling down. I may actually add some distilled water that has to further dilute it too, just so that any silver, anything else in there can drop out of solution. And then we'll filter it. Actually, I better not dilute it anymore because we're right at 2,000 milliliters. So that's the size of my big vacuum sidearm flask for vacuum filtration. So I guess we'll go with this, and hopefully everything will drop out of solution, and we'll be able to filter it out, get a nice clean filtrate, and drop the gold out of this stuff. That's what I'm hoping. Okay. I'm going to do like one more rinse on that stuff, and then I'm going to set it aside until I'm ready to process it. Alright, time to get this stuff filtered. The ice has all melted. Let's see if we can clean up this green goop and drop some gold out of it. Now this is probably going to be a very slow filtration. There's a lot of fine material in here, including probably some silver chloride that has come out of solution. I might even have to filter it twice, run it back through the dirty filter to get it to clean up. We'll see how it looks. But I imagine this is going to take a very long time, as I've got 2 liters of liquid here, and the filter's going to plug up really quick. So you don't have to watch it. We'll just be back when it's done and get a look at it and decide if we need to filter it again. We're still filtering. It's actually coming through quite clear. I don't think it'll need to be filtered again. But just for funsies, I did a stannous chloride test on it, on this lime green Kool-Aid we're making here. And it's got a lot of gold in it. So I'm very happy about that, because even diluted about 2 to 1, it's still a very, very strong indication. So I think there's a lot of gold in here. So can't wait to get it dropping after I get it filtered. But I got a lot of filtration yet to go, and it's starting to slow down. Okay, I've got all the liquid through, and I've just got the solids left to filter over there, but my flask is too full. So, you know, I won't have enough room to rinse the solids out. So I'm going to switch out flasks. And I will get the solids in the funnel and rinse them over here. Then I will combine the liquid in these two flasks. Probably back into this 3-liter beaker after I clean it. So let's see here if we can get these solids out of here. Get them in here and rinse the gold-bearing liquid out of them with a lot of, oh, there's my stir bar. Rinse the gold-bearing liquid out of them with a lot of water. Stir bar looking a little bit worse for wear. Okay, there we go. We got all the solids out. Let me clean this beaker. And then once this is done draining and I'm done rinsing the gold-bearing solution out of it, I'll keep rinsing this until I see no more color coming through, and then probably for a little while longer yet, just to make sure I get all of the gold-bearing stuff out of it. I'll combine them in the beaker, and we will drop the gold with some SMB. So, just gonna take a little while. Okay, I've rinsed all the color out of the filter, and the liquid's coming through clear, but I'm just going to let the vacuum continue to pull the liquid through until it stops, just to make sure I get all of the golden goodness out of there. Both flasks have nice clear liquid in them. I don't think it needs to be filtered again. I have cleaned this beaker, so once this stops dripping, I will combine the liquid in these two flasks back into this beaker. And I will meet you in the fume hood once that's done, and we will drop the gold in here with some SMB, so I'll see you then. Okay, I got the liquid all combined back in the big 3-liter beaker. There's a lot of liquid here. I hope there's a lot of gold in it. Gonna put some SMB in it, see if we can get some gold to precipitate. I suspect there's probably enough left in this jug of SMB here. Now the liquid is so dark green, I kind of doubt we'll see much of a color change. One more spoonful in and give it a stir. It's all just hanging out on the bottom. Get it in the water column where it can do some good. Now the water's moving. Oh yeah, well you know what? It's darkening up. Oh yeah, it's getting a lot darker. Okay, cool. We'll put a little bit more in. I'm not seeing any foaming yet. That's usually an indication that it's got enough in it. When you start seeing white foam. Tell you what, there's almost none left in this. I'm just going to put the rest of it in. Now, there's a little bit of foam in there. I think that's probably enough. We'll see what happens. I'll let this stuff sit, maybe overnight, and we'll see what happens. I can always do a stannous chloride test on what's left and see In fact, I could probably do a stannous chloride test on it later tonight and add more SMB to it tonight if need be, so it can all drop out by tomorrow morning. Yeah, but that's gotten quite dark and opaque, so okay. I think we're going to drop some gold out of that. So we'll just have to wait and see what develops. Probably going to be dirty gold since it's so green, but hey, I'll take my gold any way I can get it, clean, dirty, or whatever. Alright, so we'll just let it sit. Little gold crystals floating on the surface. Very cool. Very hypnotic. Okay, well, it's about 2 hours later. It's gotten pretty dark outside, but I'll tell you what's gotten dark. That liquid, it's gone black. And yeah, I've seen this before. I think what's happened, because there was so much copper contamination in there, and I put in a lot of SMB, I think we've created some colloidal copper sulfide. Not really a big problem. I'm sure the gold has precipitated. In fact, let me pull the beaker out and we'll see if we can see the layer of gold in the bottom of it. Alright, yep, there's the gold. The gold has precipitated out, and it looks like there's a fair amount of it down there too. It's just that the liquid is so black you can't really see it in there unless you shine a bright light on it from below. So, okay, we've got a fair amount of gold in there. I'm just going to let this sit till tomorrow and deal with it tomorrow in the daylight. Like I say, I don't think the colloidal copper sulfide is going to be a big problem at all. I was expecting it to be a dirty gold drop. It's just a little dirtier than I thought it would be. So we'll clean this up tomorrow. See you then. Alright, well, it is the next morning. And, you know, looking at this in the light of day, I can see that it's really very, very dark brown. Not so much black. It's possible some of the stuff has settled to the bottom, and it's a little lighter than it was. But I'm going to siphon off the bulk of this liquid into my temporary stock pot. And then we'll go from there. I'm contemplating purifying the gold by redissolving it in aqua regia and then reprecipitating it. Get some nice clean gold that way. We'll see. That would also clean out the inside of this beaker if I just use this beaker too, because it's got a lot of gold. It's got quite a film of gold on the inside of the beaker. So that may be what I do. Anyway, I got the better part of 3 liters of liquid to siphon, so this is going to take a little while. I'll be back when it's done. Well, here's the gold. Looks like a fair amount. Fair layer on the bottom of this big 3-liter beaker. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with my plan. I think I'm just going to put some aqua regia in here and redissolve all this gold. And the film of gold that's developed on the sides of the beaker, and filter it, and then reprecipitate it, probably in a much smaller beaker, and get some cleaner gold that way, because there's probably still a fair amount of the copper sulfide contaminating this stuff. So we'll get rid of that too. Okay, so let me put this back in the fume hood, and we'll get started on making some more aqua regia in this. Alrighty, so we're back in the fume hood. Let me turn the fume hood on. And we're going to make some aqua regia and redissolve this. Shouldn't take too much hydrochloric acid. It's probably a little more than necessary there. It's about 250 milliliters. I don't think we really needed that much, but I wanted to cover the bottom of the beaker. Now, we're in the purification stage here. I'm trying to purify this stuff and make it cleaner gold. So we're not going to use my homemade acid back here with its nice green tinge to it from copper contamination. We're going to use the store-bought nitric acid here, which is a lot purer. I was tempted I was tempted to use up the rest of my homemade acid on this, but I think we will go with the store-bought stuff, okay? Okay, so there's about 4 milliliters. Looks like there's a lot of gold in there, but I don't know. I'll give it about 5 milliliters and we'll see. If it needs more, I can put more in. It may not need more. Okay. So let's get some heat going. And let's get some stirring going. And we'll just leave that to do its thing. And hopefully, not only will we redissolve all the gold pretty quickly, but we'll redissolve all the gold that's on the sides of the beaker, the fumes from the aqua regia as they recondense on the sides of the beaker. Hopefully we'll redissolve all that film of gold in there, get that into solution. And once it's all in solution, I'll filter it, get any crud out of it, and reprecipitate it. Should have some nice clean gold. Should be able to dry it up, get a good weight on it, and we'll see how things went. I don't think I was heavy-handed enough with my homemade acid back there when I was doing the initial nitric acid boils. I think I fooled myself into thinking it was done dissolving the base metals when it wasn't anywhere near done, just because I wanted to save some of that acid for dissolving the gold. So yeah, I just wasn't heavy-handed enough with the nitric acid in the initial boils to get rid of the base metals. I'll have to remember to be a little more heavy-handed next time. But okay, we'll see how this goes. Okay, well that's starting to cook. Just starting to warm up. I've got another project over here that I can use up the rest of my homemade acid in. There's not that much left, so just go ahead and dump it in here. I will rinse out the beaker. And just gotta let the nitrogen dioxide fumes dissipate out of it. Give it a good cleaning. And it will be ready to be refilled with some more homemade acid in the future. Okay, but this project is something that will become the subject of a future series of videos. It's not quite ready for prime time, but I wanted to use up that acid and get the beaker back. So anyway, back to this. Like I say, it's just starting to warm up. Really not much of a reaction going on yet, but I'm sure that will change. Alright, now things are starting to look the way they ought to. The color of the liquid has changed. We got some orange fumes going on in there. Looks like the gold on the bottom started to dissolve. Got lots of fizzing going on. Perfect. So I'm just going to let this go and see if we can get all that gold back into solution. If not, I'll put a little bit more of my store-bought nitric acid on it to help it along until it's all gone. Alright, well looky. All the gold seems to have gone into solution. That stain in the middle is actually on the hot plate burner underneath the beaker. So the beaker, perfectly clean now. You can see the condensation on the inside of it. That's aqua regia condensing in there. It's dissolved the film of gold off the inside of the beaker. So yeah, everything looks pretty darn good in there. I don't see any solids left. So we're going to filter this anyway though, just to make sure. But first I've got to denox it and ice it and cool it down, and then we'll filter it and we'll drop the gold again. So let me get the heat turned off and get it started cooling down, and I'll get some sulfamic acid mixed up to denox it, and then we'll ice it and go on from there. Okay, I've got my usual saturated solution of sulfamic acid here that I will use for denoxing this stuff. Oh yeah, a little bit of excess nitric acid in there. I expected that I used a little bit more than was necessary. That's alright. Got all the gold in solution. The sulfamic acid has destroyed what nitric acid was left in there and converted it into two different byproducts. One was the nitrous oxide gas, which we saw bubbling out, and the other is sulfuric acid, which is useful because any lead in there is going to become insoluble lead sulfate and drop out of solution once I dilute and cool this, which is next. I'm going to put some ice on this to dilute and cool it. Okay, I pulled this stuff out of the fume hood off the hot plate because that hot plate stays hot for a long time, even after the power is off. So we'll just let this cool down. And while it is doing that, I will get set up to filter it. We'll filter it and then we will drop the gold again. Alright, the ice has all melted. It's kind of hard to see because there's so much condensation on the glass, but it's a nice clear liquid, but we're going to filter it anyway. The right color, no trace of green in it. So that's good. Yeah, see if I can get my stir bar out of here. Okay, get the pump going. And we'll get this filtered. And then get the gold dropping again. There we go. We got a seal now. Oh yeah. Nice clean liquid. Just the right color. Crystal clear. No haze. No cloudiness. Okay. Perfect. Just going to take me a little while to filter this, so we'll be back when I'm done. Okay, the filtration is all done. I'm in the process of washing the color out of the filter. Once that's done, I will transfer this liquid to this very clean 2-liter beaker and we will drop the gold in the fume hood. Got some black specks out of it on the filter. It's always, no matter how clear the liquid looks after you dissolve the gold, you got to filter it because there's always stuff in it even if you don't see it. You want to get that stuff out and have nice clean gold drop the next time around. So yep, let me finish washing the color out of the filter and then I will rejoin you in the fume hood and we'll drop the gold again. And maybe this time we can actually clean it up, dry it up, and get away on it. Alrighty, we are ready to drop this gold for the second time. Nice and clean this time. No copper contamination. So we should be able to see the color change pretty easily, I think. Got my stump out by Bonide, which has sodium metabisulfite in it, which is what we need to drop the gold out of solution. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, give it a stir. People give me a lot of grief when I don't stir it. There's a film of gold on the stir rod. I don't know if that's showing up. I got just precipitated out on the stir rod just now. Okay. It still looks a little yellow to me. I'm going to add one more spoonful. The liquid's circulating in there. Whoops, I'm making a mess. I'll need to clean that up in a minute. That's better. I don't see the yellow anymore. I got gold floating on the surface. Okay. It's coming out of solution. Oh yeah, now we got a lot of gold on the stir rod. I think I've gold plated the stir rod down there. I've heard people say that can happen. Well, there you go. There's proof positive. It can happen. Gold plated the stir rod. It's like I'm back in Dubai where everything was gold plated while we were there. Alright, so we'll just let that sit and let the gold settle out and we'll see what we got. Wow, got a whole lot of floaty gold this time. I'll hit that with a spritz of water in a little while and see if I can make it sink down, collecting the bottom with the rest of the gold. It's just very mesmerizing to watch though. Okay, that is more like it. I like that. The liquid is almost completely colorless. We got a nice layer of gold on the bottom. Didn't carry over a lot of contamination. So yeah, perfect. So what I'm going to do is, you know, it's only a couple hours later, so that settled pretty quick. Which tells me it's fairly clean gold. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to siphon off the liquid. I probably won't film it because you already see me siphoning. And then I'll give the gold some distilled water boils to try and clean it up a little further. Then dry it out and weigh it, see how much we got. Okay, I've siphoned the liquid off into my temporary stock pot. We got the first distilled water boil going, and boy is it boiling too. Okay, I'm gonna change out the water. Basically, I will pull this off the heat, let it cool down and stop bubbling for a minute or two. And then I will pour the liquid off through a filter over there just to catch any little errant bits of gold that come out with the liquid. And then I'll add some more distilled water to it and we'll give it another boil and probably do that at least twice. I like to give it at least 3 distilled water boils, then I can dry it out and weigh it. Well, there's the gold after 3 distilled water boils. Let it dry out there on the still warm hot plate, and then once it's good and dry, weigh it up and see how much we got. Okay, it is time to find out just how much gold we got here. I mean, it looks like a lot. It always looks like a lot in the beaker. It's how much is on the scale that matters. So let me break it all up in here. It's a fair amount of fine stuff stuck to the side of the beaker. It's not going to amount to anything weight-wise, I'm sure. Okay. Get my dirty gold repository on the scale here. I call it dirty gold, just it's only come out of solution once or twice. So it needs to be further refined before I'll melt it into a bar. I'll wait till I have an ounce or so in there before I bother melting it. So let's see what we've got here. Wow, just a bit over 6 grams. Not too shabby. That's quite a good first showing for my homemade acid made from waste products, I think. 6 grams of gold. Pretty darn good. I will take it. Yeah. Okay, well, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video at least a little bit interesting, educational, inspirational. Killed some time, whatever. Give the video a thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe to see future videos. Check out my second channel, Electro Geek 64. Good stuff going on there, more coming. And subscribe there too, and press the little bell icon that YouTube makes you press on both channels to be notified when new videos come out. And there's new videos coming. I've been doing R&D on a new process. There's going to be another series of videos coming out soon on that. So subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.